So if you remember back in part 2, we took apart the Thomson DVD drive so that I could get to the potentiometer that adjusts the power to the laser, adjusted it, had to go back and forth a few times, also had to resolder on the cables connecting the board to the motor, but I was successful in getting the laser adjusted enough so that it could read discs. So let's finish up this whole project, wrap everything up, get everything reassembled, and call it a day.
So this is what it looks like, almost fully disassembled. I still have to take the shielding off of the top half of the shell and then soak all of this stuff, clean up all the dust, and then we will take a look at the main motherboard and take a look at the clock capacitor specifically to see if it needs to be replaced. I'll probably replace it anyway just to be safe. So, all right, let's get this thing taken apart. Oh yeah, that's dried completely. All right, now this one should be similar.
I should warn you guys that the way I removed the heatsink off of the chipset was not the appropriate way. Apparently they are using actual paste, like thermal paste, that has dried up over time and needs to be removed by heating up the heatsink first. I just kind of ripped it off. Don't do that because you run the risk of delidding it and damaging it.
That was really dried on there. I'm actually kind of concerned that that's not going to clean off easily. Alright, so we'll get these cleaned out, get the dust blown out, clean the board up a little bit, take a closer look here, and make sure that nothing is broken or damaged or anything like that. I'll worry about the thermal paste in a little bit. Actually, I think I can take these shrouds off, and I may do that just to make things easier to clean, and I can clean them separately. Yeah, it's a little mangled, but it'll survive. Key area. Looks like it's mainly just dust, dirty. I don't see any electrolytic fluid. And again, maybe I do. Either way, like I said, I'm replacing the capacitor. I just, want to make sure that there aren't any damaged traces from any potential leaking fluid. Try not to scrub too hard because there are very, very tiny components, as you can see here, different resistors, capacitors, etc. And I don't want to knock them loose. Alright, now to tackle thermal paste. still kind of somewhat pasty. But I did hate this type of paste, this pinkish stuff, because it really was more of a paste than it was a compound or anything like that. I think Intel used them on the heatsinks for the desktop versions of these CPUs. This will be more of a challenge here. Might let it soak a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's caked on for sure. I'd almost use Goo Gone, but I have no idea how that's going to react with the dye. Or is it Goof Off? I don't remember which one I've got. Little tiny resistor. Even this isn't going to be able to pick it up. Right here. That's probably one of the smallest components I've ever seen on the board. I take that back. There's capacitors here as well that are just about as small. So again, that's why you got to be careful when you're cleaning electronics like that, so that you don't inadvertently knock anything loose and never find it again, because you probably won't. I suppose the rest of this is just kind of perma-stained. In a way. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's somewhat of a porous material, and that's actually compound that's in there, but there's probably no way that I'm going to get it all off, so that's fine. This will be good enough. Alright, so taking a look, and I don't know if it's going to come through on camera or not, and I really can't get a better angle. But the legs on the clock capacitor do look a little dull. They're not shiny like some of the other capacitor legs, as well as the pads underneath. So more than likely there was a little bit of leaking, and well, we'll just have to remove it as planned. Alright, so I'm firing up the soldering station and the desoldering gun and my little fan to blow all the fumes away, so it's going to be a little noisy. Not much I can do about that. I do have the furnace off because it's actually nice and warm out for a change, so go figure. And of course the here and here. Although theoretically, the next two would work too. Probably don't need a desoldering gun, but I've got one, so I should use it. I just gotta wait for it to finish warming up. Alright, it should be warmed up. That took too much effort. But looking at the capacitor, there is a little bit of gunk on the legs, so definitely needed to be replaced. So I just, for whatever reason, I could not get that hole cleaned out. So I went and just got the one right next to it. It'll work just fine too. Let's go ahead and put the capacitor in. Yeah, that'll do just fine. Definitely taller than the old one and the other ones, but there should be plenty of clearance. So, not too worried. Let's apply some solder. Alright, in theory, I'm done with any repairs to this, so all I have to do is get the heatsink brackets back on, clipped in place, new thermal paste, get the heat sinks back on, get everything put back together, and this should be hopefully done. Well, I suppose it's time for a reassembly montage, so let's get started. Now for some thermal paste. Probably don't need that much, but whatever. Alright, now I just have to get the shell and everything. Everything should be dry by now. It's been a few days, hopefully. Everything is dry, so I will go ahead and get everything else reassembled, and again, we'll continue on with the montage. Fan's still a little loud, but it's not too bad. And I apologize for the voice audio. I don't have my microphone hooked up so you can get a better idea of the sound coming from the TV and the console itself. So yeah, let's put it through its paces a little bit and we'll wrap this video up.
And here is the completed Xbox project. Now, granted, there are some scuffs and scratches on the shell, especially up here on the top of the casing. I tried my best to try to buff them out, but it's kind of like a rough top, so if I try to polish it too much, it'll be shiny. So I'm just going to deal with it, you know, whatever. But I got it working for the most part. It mostly reads discs. It is not perfect. There are times where it can't read a disc, but I will eject a disc, put it back in, it works fine. This was definitely a learning experience though, especially since I screwed up the Samsung drive that originally came with it, broke the connector, replaced it with a Thomson drive, which by the way, if your Xbox has a Thomson drive, you can get replacement lasers much more affordably than you can for the Samsung ones. The Samsung lasers are about 50 bucks and anywhere from $5 to $10 shipping, whereas the Thomson ones are like $10 and a couple of bucks shipping. And you can get them on Amazon, whereas the Samsung ones, at least as far as I've been able to find, are only available on eBay and probably Ali and other places. So, but doesn't matter. I have a mostly working Xbox, 99% working. I never had one before, and I'm kind of excited because I was never expecting to actually get one, and if it was not for the console lot, I probably would not have one, at least at this stage. But I've got one. I still need to get a working controller because the controller I picked up for $2 does not have a working D-pad, and I still need to mod this, especially while the drive is still working, because I would like to be able to rip games and store them on the hard drive. The Xbox modding scene is very interesting. There's different methods, different options, and it's a little confusing if you've never done it before, so I'm still trying to do some research on it. But at the very least, this guy is working for me. So I hope you guys at least got some entertainment out of this series. Maybe learn something. If you didn't, that's fine too. I'm doing this kind of, like I said, as a hobby, so it's, you know, whatever. So if you like this video, and especially this series, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and leave a comment below, you know, your favorite Xbox memory or part of this video series or whatever, or if there's any critical comments you want to leave, that's fine too. If you have not yet subscribed, please feel free to do so, but there's never any obligation. I do appreciate it though, but again, you're not required to do so. This is just a hobby for me, and I appreciate the 136 subscribers that I have now. So if you didn't like this video, hit the thumbs down, but please leave a comment below as to why, so I can try to use that to help improve things going forward. Otherwise, thanks all, and I'll catch you later.